Oh, Blenheim. You know, some battles are remembered for their sheer scale, others for their cunning. And then there's Blenheim, remembered because one man in a wig made the entire French army regret waking up that day. Imagine being so decisively thrashed that your empire stops expanding for the next 100 years. Yes, my dear peasants, gather round, for I, King Arthur, I'm here to tell you the tale of how a British duke, an Austrian prince, and a very muddy river ruined Louis XIV's afternoon. And if you enjoy watching France suffer historically, in full HD with the occasional sarcastic remark, you may want to consider subscribing. Like the video too, lest Marlborough's ghost comes knocking. Right, let's begin. It is the year of our Lord 1704. Europe, as usual, is at war, specifically the War of the Spanish Succession. The gist? The Spanish king had died without an heir, and every monarch in Europe said, well, I should obviously get the throne, and the rest disagreed violently. On one side, we have the Grand Alliance, England, the Dutch Republic, the Holy Roman Empire, essentially, everyone who didn't get invited to Louis XIV's garden parties. On the other side, France and Bavaria, who had the nerve to believe the entire Spanish Empire should belong to a Bourbon. Enter stage left, John Churchill, Duke of Marlborough, not to be confused with the cigarettes. This man was no ordinary noble sipping wine in silk tights. Oh no. He was a master of logistics, deception, and politely wrecking your nation. And beside him, Prince Eugene of Savoy, an Austrian general who had the kind of military brain you'd normally have to invent in a lab. The two decided to do something bold. March 400 kilometers across Europe in total secrecy, link up their armies, and punch Bavaria right in the metaphorical face before France even knew what was happening, which, I must say, is a very un-French thing to allow. Now, the French-Bavarian army, under Marshal Tallard and the Elector of Bavaria, were comfortably camped near the Danube River at a sleepy village called Blindheim, or Blenheim if you're British and don't care about pronunciation. They weren't expecting company, especially not 52,000 angry Anglo-Austrian soldiers. On August 13th it happened. Dawn broke, the sun rose, and 120,000 men collectively muttered, well, this is going to be awful. Marlborough's plan was pure artistry. He launched a feint on the left, drawing the enemy's attention, while his center drove straight through and his right linked up with Eugene's men to crush the flank. It was a chess game, but with cannons, mud, and lots of screaming. The French tried to hold Blenheim village like it was the last wine cellar in Europe, but it turned into a death trap. Thousands were crammed inside, surrounded and pounded by artillery. By evening, 11,000 surrendered, possibly just for the chance to sit down. Marshal Tallard, captured. The Elector of Bavaria, fled. France, embarrassed. Louis XIV, reportedly said nothing for days, which for a man who bathed in praise was basically a royal breakdown. This victory wasn't just a battlefield win, it changed the war. It saved Vienna from invasion, shattered French invincibility, and turned Marlborough into Britain's military rock star. They even built a palace for him, Blenheim Palace. Because when you humiliate France that hard, you deserve a house bigger than most towns. So, what do we learn from Blenheim? First, never underestimate a man in a powdered wig with a map. Second, alliances can work, especially when they come with gunpowder. And third, don't camp by a river if your enemy is good at flanking. Seriously, if you've enjoyed this delightful dose of historical humiliation, don't just vanish like the French cavalry. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more tales of royal disasters, military surprises, and the occasional sarcastic British commentary. And leave a comment below. What is the dumbest strategic mistake in military history in your opinion? Until next time, I remain your ever-wise, ever-sassy narrator, King Arthur. Now go forth, and never trust a Bavarian when he says, "We're safe here."